Analytics, oh.
Are you even recording yet or streaming yet?
I hit the stream button. I'm just right now going to analytics hole real quick, but no notification of Twitch is letting me know that I'm live yet. I think Twitch is an hour behind.
The guy who plays Barney the Dinosaur now runs a tantric sex business.
I hope you're joking.
I'm not. I'll throw it in the Discord.
I think that was live. Okay then. Apparently, the people in the podcast now know that the Barney the Dinosaur guy now runs a sex business.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that is a segue to opening. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Anime4ALL podcast season 2, where apparently we'll be discussing the intricacies of Barney Dinosaur's sex service.
Shaman King for me all day.
And apparently Jock's gonna just be singing a random Shaman King parody. Why am I talking with my eyes closed? I have no idea.
You're trying to will it all to go away.
I have no idea that's what I'm trying to do or not. But hey everybody, I guess what we're gonna do real quick is at the very beginning of this we're gonna look at analytics because I haven't done that in a couple. I guess we've gone up in percentage. It looks like we're picking up. Right now, granted we're at very low right now. Granted, we have 17 downloads in the month of November, so thank you guys for downloading the podcast or supporting this. In any way you can. Okay, never mind. I guess we got some Wait a minute. Wow, we have a Canadian viewer. Well, not viewer, but listener. Hey, welcome to the cast. The person from Quinzel. Apparently it's near Alexandria, Williams Lake, Byron. I'm completely doxing this dude. I apologize.
They've got the best hockey team.
Wasn't expecting that. Oh, I got somebody in Kansas.
I was born in Kansas.
Is that you? Is that you trying to tell me?
No, I'm just saying I was born in Kansas. Kansas City. Fort Leavenworth, actually. I was born in a military prison.
You know, a lot of that explains a lot about you, actually. I don't know what exactly it explains, but it explains something.
My mom lived with my mom had me when she was 18. She lived with my grandfather, who was an Army Ranger in Fort Leavenworth. So when she had me, I was in Fort Leavenworth.
Oh, we have somebody listening to us who lives near New Haven. That's in Connecticut. Is that you?
I don't know. I haven't listened to the podcast, to be honest with you, in the last week.
You actually? Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I was just kind of joking. I was just.
It wasn't me.
Okay, Shaggy, but
It wasn't me.
Huh. Well, I guess the analytics here we're going up for sure, 6% than from the previous time period. We're still sitting at 7 followers, so we're doing something right.
Rocketing up, meteoric rise to power. First, it's the podcast, and then it's take over the world.
Hold on to your britches. We're not doing that. Don't listen. Don't listen to this crazy man. Okay, I guess with that, we're gonna proceed.
Crazy.
We're gonna proceed with the next 2 episodes of the Shaman King Shaman King series that we're reviewing, episodes 22 and 23. And I guess since it worked out well for us last time, I'm gonna just steal his notes. I mean, read my own notes. Uh, episode 23. Wait a minute. Yeah, episode 23 is Power of Yo. Faust and Ryu reveal their stronger oversoul, scaring the Icemen. Yo takes over the fight, instantly defeating them with a spirit of sword, but make sure his rivals use their powers. In the aftermath, Hao tries intimidating Ren to join him if he wants to defeat Yo, but it's rejected. Meanwhile, Yo meets Lasser. Not much to say at the end of the episode that right there though, in terms of like Yo meeting Lasser. I guess it was just like he was looking for him. Lasser seems okay-ish. We'll get to that in episode 24, but you have here episode starts off with my cat standing in front of the monitor. Thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, my cat was in the way. I was trying to see the screen, and the cat kept walking in my way. So I was like really distracted before the intro cut, before the like opening music. I'm like spent most of that time pushing my cat out of the way because he's a giant jerk. So that was really fun, you know.
Cool that your cat made it into the podcast. Shout out to which cat is it?
Oliver Wendell, the Wonderful Cat Bouchard, the First Esquire.
That guy. Okay.
No. You can do this. Oliver Wendell, the Wonderful Cat Bouchard, the First Esquire.
How about we say I did and we just move on?
You're the one that brought up the cat's name, all right?
You're the one that brought up the cat in the podcast notes.
It's Oliver Wendell, the Wonderful Cat Bouchard, the First Esquire. It's very, very simple.
I'd like a poll to see if people agree with you or disagree with you. I would love to know the amount of people that actually disagree with you.
Well, you probably remember my other cat's name, the one that's sitting with me right now. His name is Joel. We gave him a nice simple name. His first name is Joel, his middle name is Joel, so that it's not too complicated for anybody. He's not very bright, he's kind of simple. So we didn't want to give him a lot, so we just call him Joel.
Wow. I don't know if I should feel sorry for that cat.
He's simple. He can't remember a longer name than that. So we just, instead of doing it, we just gave him first and middle name the same name. The other one is very smart, so we call him Oliver Wendell, the Wonderful Cat Bouchard, the First Esquire.
Okay, the next note on here, at 2:15 in the episode, you write down Faust the 7th, the Faust the 8th summons his giant lost love, Eliza Oversoul. And then we have, apparently I wasn't paying attention to this last time, but apparently they kept on using this word, the Ultra Senju Ryuketsuwa. It's just it was just their way to answer power-ups. Because Faust got a major power-up. Supposed to get you a job as a radio DJ, just like.
Let's get more than 7 viewers on our podcast, and then we can figure out my DJ career. I thought it was funny that they did that. They were making such a big deal out of him. I found out something. I finally got some time around to read up on Faust in history. And there was an account of Faust when he was, after his death, there was a lot of sightings for like 100 years after his death where people swore that they saw him. And one of them was, one of the deaths was, one of the post-death scenes was him with a dog. And the dog was, seen to like transform back and forth from a dog to a servant, and I thought that was kind of interesting given the situation, because that he had that dog that was like really confusing everybody. Remember,
so
like,
a long time ago, people thought that they saw Faust just walking about
after his death. Yeah, like he was, whether or not he even existed was like in contention for a long time. And then when they somebody finally proved that he was like, he actually existed in the first place, and then when he did, when they proved it, they went through it, they said, well, this is about the time that we can tell that he died. But when they like checked in history, like there were reports for like a long time. Like he died like either 1540 or 1541, but there were still reports of people that came across him like in like 1587 and 1602 and stuff like that. And I mean, back then, like living to be 60 years old was pretty good. And like more than 60 years after his death, or almost 60 years after his death, like people were still saying that they'd met him in person and things like that. And they were like, and then after that, it just sort of like continued on until it just became, they just started writing it off as rumors and legend instead of even reports after that. But like people like for a long time decided that they'd met him, but like one of the more credible accounts of having met him was that he he had a dog that like he'd be seen with that like would just turn from a dog into a servant sometimes. So I thought that was interesting, since the other character walks around with a skeletal dog, and we're like, where's this dog come from? Like we had no idea what it was, but it could have been that dog, the skeletal dog of the original Faust. Could
Well,
turn into a skeleton.
he says he does do research into his ancestor. And well, here you say Faust researches his ancestor Johann the First, Johann or whatever, Johann the Faust, German scholar who summoned Mephisto slash Mephistopheles, magical Mephistopheles from Cats. I probably went to butcher that name probably, but I never actually watched Cats.
It's Mephistopheles is the name of the other one, Mephisto, also known as Mephistopheles. But I thought that was interesting because there's a magical cat in the musical Cats called Magical Mr. Mephistopheles instead of Mephistopheles. It's Mephistopheles, which is like a slightly easier to say version of that. And I thought that was interesting. That must be that callback from Cats must be referencing Mephistopheles, which is a real demon from German folklore.
I like to, I guess, to take a minute to talk about this like whole thing with Faust. I feel like I've heard about Faust a long time ago. I'm pretty sure everybody's probably heard of Faust. Well, at least some version of Faust.
DC character.
Huh?
Faust is a DC's superhero character. Felix Faust. So you might have heard of that.
But no, I feel like I heard something like, I mean, because this, you're talking about there's like actual, like, not encounters, but there's actual like literature talking about him. And I feel like, not that they would talk about him in school, but I feel like maybe it would have been in the text at some point that maybe you skipped over.
If you felt like that, you wouldn't be the Faust to think it.
Dang it. But at least maybe I researched it because I like what's the word I'm looking for? Lore, or what's the other word? It might just be lore, but I feel like maybe I come across this character's name before, because I like to. It's kind of weird though that he, like, I guess the idea that he may have sold his soul to the devil, or in this case Mephisto, and people are saying that 60 years after his death they seen him walking. So it's just kind of weird, and then they take it here, considering that like Shaman King is like an old show anyway. It wouldn't, I mean, considering how many things that they've taken inspiration from to make a character, it's interesting that they took Faust and they're taking as much as they can from all the encounters. Frankenweenie, for instance, the dog that was supposed to have been turned into a serpent, is now his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mephisto, the supposed demon that his ancestor would have sold his soul to, he took it and embodied his clumsy girlfriend, with calling her Mephisto E for Mephisto Ellen, I think her name is. I forgot her name. Eliza, Mephisto Eliza.
Yeah.
Eliza. So it's kind of cool that they're doing as much as they can to embody. I guess another thing too about him is like, apparently he found accounts of him 500 years ago during the last Shaman King fight. It makes me wonder. I wonder, like, in his quest for knowledge, did he find out about Shaman King fight? because like not many people know about it. Only you find out about it if you're a shaman. And I honestly thought they were going to say that he was a shaman and he participated in the last war in the last fight, but I'm glad they didn't. But at the same time, I'm actually kind of curious. Like he was around 500 years ago, and it was perfect timing for the original fight. Makes you wonder if how it had anything to do with his death. Because he said he doesn't know whether it was all real or not, which is another interesting callback too. Is that nobody really knows truly if he did sell his soul to the devil, and if he was walking around, if he is still walking around. Not that people are saying they're seeing him today. It'd be really, really weird that he said they were seeing him today.
I mean, I saw him.
Dang it, Jock. I guess continuing on with the I guess the girlfriend and looks. I saw this line in the anime, and I was thinking of you when I saw this. You're like, really? She kills her opponents with unsuccessfully administered vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't let that get by you, would you?
It just didn't age well. That's all I'm saying.
This is an old show. This is before COVID was a thing.
It didn't age well. It's still coming out now. They're still releasing them.
This is a remake. This thing is done. The source material is done. This show came. This thing, the original manga, it's old. This came out like early 2000.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that she vaccines people to death. I'm sure that's extremely.
Well, he was saying she was clumsy and she didn't know how to actually administer a vaccine.
Yeah. Let's make people even more terrified of vaccines.
This is a fictional world and a fictional needle, not the real thing.
Well,
if they're that dumb to take advice from a show, they probably. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Moving on. I don't think what I was gonna say was terms of service. So I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. But let's see here. The next thing you write down here is the counterattack is sent to Yo via Bodba, the oversoul. But Rio takes the. Oh, that's right. The Iceman sends out an ice attack to hit Yo because they're constantly trying to, I guess, take Yo out of the picture. Ryu takes the hit, freezes, and defreezes himself. And this actually happens several times in a couple seconds of each other. Ryu is showing that he's able to defrost himself, I guess because of the power up he received from the Ultra Shinji Ryuketsu. That's a mouthful. That's what she said. But
why am I such a villain?
I don't know. Apparently, I guess you wanted to make notes of the puns. Okay, it's damn code is what you say here.
Mm-hmm.
We also get, I guess, a scene of Togek.
They call him half baked. They call him damn cold. It's just like so cheesy.
The next thing you have here is we see the evolution of Togero's oversoul. He still calls it Yamato no Orochi. I know you make a mention that it looks more like a Hydra here, but it's like I think it's really just. I mean, I can see I can actually see it looking like a Hydra, but I think more is just, they're trying to make references to the giant dragon from that old myth that we had talked about 2 podcasts ago, I think.
But Beholder is like a really good understanding of this version of it, like when it has all the heads and stuff. Mm-hmm. It looks more like a Beholder.
Do beholders typically have one eye and they look kind of white and they have snake hair?
They have one eye instead of 2, and their little stalks are eye stalks and not little dragon stalks. But the basic shape, a floating thing with a giant mouth and eyes and everything else, like.
I fought that thing in Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. I didn't know what the heck it was, but apparently that's a beholder. Oh.
Yeah. But it reminded me more of a beholder than anything else. I mean, it could have been something else, I guess, but.
He literally named it Yamata no Orochi. That is literally the dragon thing from the Japanese thing. Like that's literally what that was. I think it maybe was meant to look like multiple things. So I think really it was meant to be from that story. There's like a lot of stories that involve serpents and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that's really what that was supposed to be. What Ryu is supposed to be, I have no idea. It's kind of odd that they paired him with that guy, but I mean, I can see it looking like a beholder for sure. I'm pretty sure it was probably meant to me look a lot of things, but I think the basis of it was that the fact that I think it looked like a beholder was probably accidental, or maybe it was on purpose. I had no idea.
I don't know. Like it was definitely part Hydra, but like it just looked like they were trying to go with Beholder as well. So
Like past,
I don't know.
yeah, past that point when Rio reveals his ultimate oversoul, we get like a little speech from him saying that everybody's changed because of Yo, and they all follow his direction because they believe in him. And we also get the whole like the oversoul here in this universe is like the aura, but like in this situation, it's all about how strong-willed you are, depending on like how strong your oversoul is. I say this because they start trying to attack Yo with ice attacks, and Yo does nothing to dodge them, but he doesn't get hit because his mana is the word they kept on using here. I think mana and Furyoku are just interchangeable here, but his mana was just like malleable enough to deflect ice attacks.
Yeah, he was just too flexible, basically, to be hurt by an attack like that.
Which is really cool. I mean, like it shows that okay, Yo's ascended. And I guess it explains why Admirammaro is also ascended from normal class to whatever class of spirit he is now. Eliza and Togero must have ascended too.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense why they and also it also makes sense the fact that they're teamed up with Yo, they would also get the power up. If Ren had teamed up with Yo, he would have gotten the power up too. So only the people who teamed up with Yo managed to get the power up because they weren't trying to harm Yo. I wonder how many people could actually receive a power up from that dang thing, because it seems like it's very useful to anybody and everybody and everyone that wants to get involved with it.
Well, apparently Hal has an upgrade to this book, because he's like, oh yeah, the old book. He goes, you want me to teach you all that and more, and come become my ally. Makes a pretty tempting offer.
But I mean, he made the book, so he probably didn't put everything in there. I mean, how was apparently thinking so far ahead. We'll get to that point though. But I guess speaking of Ren and Hal, we're getting to that point here. Before we get to that, yeah, his ice. It's Yo wants to be able to finish this fight. You put Goku, I mean Yo, because that was on purpose. But I mean, yeah, I mean,
so
this show came out around the time when Dragon Ball Z was like a huge thing. So there's gonna be a lot of characters from anime from here on out that are gonna be templates of that guy. It's just there's no escaping it. But
You mean Yo or Goku?
I mean Goku. Like this show came out around the same time Dragon Ball Z was. So there's gonna be a lot of characters that are templates of Goku.
He's a lot like Goku.
There's gonna be characters that are gonna
like Goku.
There's gonna be characters that are templates of Goku.
Oh, because he's a lot like Goku.
But pretty much here, I lost my train of thought here. I really did. But they essentially fight like Yo and not antagonists, but encourages them to fight at their full power and they use their ultimate ice technique. Yo destroys it all with a great Halo Blade. Is that what he called it? Or Ultra? I forgot what it was. It was a variation on Halo Blade, which was pretty cool actually. I'm not sure how long he can hold that giant Spirit Blade thing, but it looks like he can hold it long enough to get one good attack in.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like to me it's probably only going to be used for like final attacks, which he did here. He ended it with one attack. First, yeah, he wins with a single attack here. And we get to timestamp 1900 where Hal starts talking to Ren, and this is an interesting. This is actually a really interesting confrontation. Hal goes out of his way to go and try to recruit Ren. We hear from like earlier on in the series, like how people are his minions talk about like how he probably should recruit Ren because Ren's really powerful and whatnot. It's kind of interesting that Hal goes out of his way to try to recruit Ren, and I'm almost wondering if Hal knew that it wasn't going to work. He wasn't going to be able to recruit him. He just wanted to see if he could see what Ren's all about, and pretty much destroys him.
Like he was thinking that this was like step one of switching him over, and didn't think that the first step was going to win him over, but he was just like planting the seed so he could build on this later.
I don't know. I don't think Ren could be easily swayed, even through fear, which we see here.
No, I know, but I think he's gonna like. I think this was like stage one of trying to convert him and just going, I see you like this power, like why don't and I'm definitely way ahead of you. Do you want to join me? And then like the guy didn't do it, and he's like, well, I didn't think you'd do it yet, but makes it sound like he thinks it's on the way.
It also sounded like Ren was also trying to gauge what his intermediary was, which we don't know it at this episode, but we find out next episode what it is. And it's kind of funny how much that makes sense. But
he thought he knew what it was, but he was in error.
I don't think he ever knew what it was. I think he was trying to gauge what it was.
Yeah, he guessed in error.
Did he say that he thought he knew what it was? I don't think he said he ever. I don't think he knew what it was. He said he didn't know what it was. He said it was something.
His guess was erroneous.
Is that a pun or something, or is that just some like reference?
It's intermediary. His intermediary is error.
I keep on hearing error.
AIR. His intermediary.
No,
is
no,
error.
I'm saying that this episode he didn't Ren doesn't know what his intermediary is.
I know, and I said he tried to guess what it was, but it was an error. It was a pun. Oh my God, Jeremy.
I kept on hearing error. That's what I was saying. I kept on hearing error.
It was a pun. Error and error sound similar, so it's a pun.
Ruined that joke. Not on purpose.
You sort of did ruin the joke. Oh my God.
But I guess
jokes.
You know what? Joke.
Chicken butt.
No, but he probably like Hal ends up like destroying Hal's like lance weapon, which was I wonder like how that's gonna pan out for Ren. Though Ren still got that sword, so maybe that's what he'll be using. Though I mean, anime they'll always fix their weapons in off screen, so we'll see the lance again. So that was I mean like it made Ren experience fear, which made him very angry. But
well, the fear is a big deal because we just saw a moment ago that Yo said, if I had felt any fear at all, then that attack would have hit me. So that was sort of a way of saying if Ren had been there, he would have been hit.
Why would Ren's fear make him have any fear? What?
Ren had there was a scene earlier where Yo said if I'd felt any fear at all, that attack.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what like Ren's fear would have to do with that, unless I misunderstood that sentence altogether.
I'm saying what this is sort of telling us, if Ren had been in the same situation, he would have been hit. Because Yo said if I felt any fear at all, and we see that Yo's not really capable of fear, but Ren is. So it's sort of like placing Ren ahead of, like, behind Yo there by doing that, saying that, like, a similarly scary situation, Ren felt fear where Yo doesn't.
I guess I can see that. I don't know how, like, I wouldn't... That situation, yeah, I mean, but I don't think, like, you can compare the scariness of Hal to them. If Ren was there, I don't know if Ren would have experienced fear in that situation. Because it seemed like Ren knew exactly what was happening in that fight, and that's why he left. But I see what you mean. I just like don't know. Like I feel like Hal's in a different class when it comes to fear. But I mean, I guess we'll get to that in a minute. We cut away from that instance of Hal just disrupting everything, and Horo is having a conversation with the Iceman, and they are pretty much confirming they're going to go home. They're also afraid of, well, the leader's afraid of the, I guess the old man. I guess that is his foster father, or maybe his father. I had no idea. It was very weird because it sounded like that maybe it might have been his, either it might have been his father or something, or somebody else.
It sounds like a mentor, like a teacher.
Oh, that too, actually. That's more likely now. Think about it.
Yeah, because he's not going to be the father of all of them, and they said we're going to go to the father, see the father. So
they all pretty much are friends at this point. They're having fun, relaxing, and we cut away from that rending moment to Yo finding Lysa over by a boat in the middle of, well, not in the middle of nowhere, but like at the edge of the island.
The edge of the island with a boat and a lighthouse and a dock. Seemed pretty legit.
I hope it wouldn't. I hope it would be legit. I mean, they put them there.
I liked how Yo changed the Icemen. That like they started out fairly hostile, and when they left, they were like, I'm really glad I met him. He was a great guy, and yada yada yada. It just seemed cool that he like won them over completely, and they felt happy and inspired. Like just another example of Yo really like bringing out the best in everybody.
Well, this is a fairly tame episode because nobody dies this episode, but that completely changes in the next one. Episode 24, Trust No One. While Yo and Lysa remain on friendly terms, the other Exiles want Yo to join them, but they are rejected. And the next day, the Shaman fight continues with Hanagumi easily defeating the rivals, while Hao easily kills the Exiles who sacrifice their lives to reveal his weak point. As by that really poorly ruined joke that I managed to mangle, we found out that Hao's intermediary is oxygen or air. But I guess it makes sense because that's why they tell you to not put what's it? Like on a grease fire, I forgot what they tell you not to put on it. But it makes it breathe oxygen and it makes the fire bigger. Kind of makes Hao a little bit dangerous because if he's just using air to as an intermediary, there's a lot of it. He's like ultimately powerful. I wonder how you stop somebody from using that as an intermediary other than stop them breathing. But it's backing up from there. We have first the beginning episode starts off at the where the other episode ended. We have Lysa and Yo chatting. Yo's just like checking in on Lysa to see how he's doing. We happen to get a glimpse that apparently Lysa has a scratch on his pectoral over there. I think his left one, depending where you're looking. But so like something's been going on. I mean, they also been beating him senselessly. Apparently, at least Marco has.
Why are you looking at his pecs? It's kind of weird, Jeremy.
I was not. The Yo and the camera and everything like that was pointing out. I was never noticing the scratches on him apparently, but
yeah, but you started looking when you realized it.
They're abusing him.
It's just kind of weird. That's all I'm saying. That you're checking out his.
You know what's weird? The deal I can get you on this car. Get out.
Nobody knows why you include me in this podcast.
I don't even know, but
It's blackmail, in case anyone's wondering. I have blackmail on him.
That's gotta be black.
That's a good point. It's white mail.
I thought that's even worse.
It's hot mail.
Wow, you just put a year on yourself. All the everybody knows with Hotmail.
I can't win. Gmail?
Why do you got Gmail on me?
I don't know. I've run out of funny things. I'm a ruined man, Jeremy, and it's your fault.
Moving on.
Yes, let's move on.
You have right down here that it's dangerous to go alone. Take a ship. Apparently, I guess you were just making fun of the dangerous to go alone thing that they have Lysa say, because apparently Lysa is not allowed to exit the ship on his own.
Yeah, he goes, I'm not allowed to exit the ship, and he goes, we all ship to stay strong. And I'm just all I could think of was that line from Zelda. It's dangerous to go alone.
I like to point out too. I don't know. I mean, they've already kind of made reference to the fact that Lysa looks rather girly. I don't know why. This episode in general, like when him talking with Yo, it just like, if you just showed up at this episode, this be your first episode of the entire series, if you hadn't heard Les speak, you think that he was a girl. It's very odd. Like his eyes are like very like anime chickish. It's a really off-putting. Granted, he's supposed to look androgynous, but it's just like if you didn't know and you to see your first episode, you'd be really confused. It's one of those things that it's like the art direction that he decided to go with the show.
He's kind of the Froppy of the series, but I don't like him like Froppy.
Huh? You just saying that because he's green?
Yeah. Normally I like the green character. I like Piccolo, I like Froppy. And this one is just kind of, the green one just kind of stinks.
Well, it's kind of like he kind of betrayed him. Good. I like the point. I like that they have him here, like talk about the whole like him leaving the gang all of a sudden and then showing up on the other side of the on another team. Like he felt like he betrayed him, but Yo didn't care about that at all. You know, I guess he was just checking on to see if he was okay. As long as the decision that it was a decision that he made, he has no qualms about it. But he does, like Yo does show that he has like great problems with how X-Laws do things. He's actually shown his entire interaction with him. He didn't like him, even as so far as getting invited to join them by the Iron Maiden. And I did see that image of you posting of him looking unfazed. I will have to admit he looked very phased to me.
He looked quite phased. I have no idea where they got off saying that was an unfazed look.
Maybe it was just a joke in Japanese where he clearly looks disturbed, but they're going to pretend they don't see it. Because I think they think that being an X-Law is a very beautiful thing. Goku's a lot of emotions the entire episode, like from like calmness to pure anger. But he's able to push back the anger.
Yeah, he says, I don't ever want to feel angry again.
Speaking of anger, Marco slapping Laswork around like an English patient is like
English patient. Did you really just say that? Why are you so proud of yourself?
I was gonna say an English nanny, but I don't want to. I didn't want to say that.
You should be embarrassed. You should not be proud of yourself.
I'm ashamed. But I can be proud.
Ashamed. You should be very, very ashamed of yourself.
Listen here, you talk about making an error joke. We're gonna move on. But I don't know why Trigun was slapping slapping Froppy X at whatever, but it was ridiculous. Like I don't think I've ever seen that much slapping in a show. And like I feel like the only reason why Laswork is androgynous and is male is because they probably couldn't justify Marco slapping a girl around.
I haven't seen that much slapping in a show since I watched a good porno.
Moving on to the next thing, like that wasn't even a segue. That's just I wanted to change the subject. It's before you leave. Apparently, they all go to bed at 8, which is
the little boys do, yes.
An odd
little boy, Jeremy.
It is 10 o'clock where I am. No,
you're a bad boy, Jeremy.
Moving on. This is getting creepy, and I don't appreciate it.
Scared the crap out of you today.
The Iron Maiden shows up, offers Yo a position on the X-Laws. It surprises all the X-Laws. Marco doesn't want nothing to do with it because Marco thinks that Yo is somehow involved with Hal. We all know he isn't, but Marco doesn't care because he feels like Yo's doing something because he protected one of Hal's followers. He was just trying to prevent them from killing them. That's all he was trying to do. We get some really weird instances of like I guess emotion from the Iron Maiden gene, where like apparently the face of the bell can open up and show her face, and apparently that's indecent. I'm like, why did you add that function in there if that's indecent? I actually got to worry. How does she eat? Does she even eat in there? Also, speaking of the Iron Maiden, did you see that she was drowning herself? Because she was in the water.
In her blood, you mean?
No, she was like her and the entire bell was in the water. Before she showed up, she came out of the water.
Oh yeah, she's
She was
apparently
literally
torturing
drowning
herself.
herself.
Yeah, she just spends her spare time torturing herself for the betterment of the world.
That's a crazy chick.
Some pretty twisted shit.
She cries tears, and then she cries blood out of the Iron Man. Like that's gotta hurt. Like seriously, like having those like, they didn't appear to be any like, needles on the faceplate either. So I don't even know like what was actually puncturing her, and I wonder if it was her eyes. I guess it doesn't really matter because her spirit power heals her injuries immediately. 'Cause I guess any pain she's really suffering is only just temporary.
Yeah, basically her version of the hyperbolic time chamber. She's just getting non-stop Zenkai boosts.
But
What?
I don't know. Uh, that it was very dark. She was crying a lot of blood when decided to not take up an offer, and she just said she was sad because now she's gonna have to fight him. So I don't know why. I guess another thing too, I didn't realize this, but she, in her like when she's out of that thing, she's wearing a chastity belt.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was really creepy.
I didn't notice that until like they had like the title card or the card for her show up, and she had her whole design. I was like, I didn't realize she was wearing a chastity belt.
I didn't know if they did that just so she wouldn't be naked or not, because I don't see her wearing it in the regular thing, but maybe I just didn't see it then.
She was wearing pants when she first comes out of the thing, but then her spirit armor, her oversoul, she's wearing that.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably a combination of both because she's underage and they don't want her not wearing anything, and that's the closest thing they could get to her looking like she's wearing a dress. I have no idea. I think we're gonna move off the subject.
Girls not having sex.
Wait, what?
They just want to make it absolutely clear to the audience that this little girl is not having sex.
Dang it, John. Dang it. At 60, oh yeah, 619, he's definitely phased. Yeah, we see that picture of him actually being phased. 8, the time card of the time slot of 8, discount Team Rocket. Really?
Compare them to Team Rocket. They have like similar haircuts, similar styles. Go look at Team Rocket. I immediately thought of them, but I confirmed it when I looked at Team Rocket. Like, it's basically Team Rocket. Like, parallel dimension Team Rocket.
Did you realize the little brother from Fullmetal Alchemist? I'm just now seeing these cliff notes. What the heck, man? 2 different animes in one line. How do you do that? We got to coming to the tournament. Apparently, Hanagumi, which is part of Hao's team, managed to dispatch their enemies really quickly, and by dispatch I mean kill them. Again, this show is going from like happy-go-lucky to immediate death in under like 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. There's so much death happening in this show. It's like this is a show about little kids and using souls to fight, and they're all gonna die. It's like, dang it, man. Pretty much after that, the next fight is Hoshigumi versus the X3, which is Hao's team with the butler dude and then the little black tribal kid. I'm expecting that little black tribal kid to actually, like, his spirit's gonna probably make him bigger. Like, he's gonna probably become the Incredible Hulk at some point. I have no idea. I'm suspecting it now. But I guess we'll see whenever he does fight, because they don't fight this episode. It's just Hao. He said he wants to dispatch the entire X-Laws all at once, but they don't do it. And we also get throughout the entire episode of like how Permanent's piecing together. Well, not piecing together. He already knew that they were trying to discover his weakness. And after killing 2 of them, the girl and the guy with the face mask, they'd
keep in mind that the scouters showed that the 2 of them had powers of over 9,000.
I'm going to ignore that. I mean, he basically did read
scanner on his arm to scout out their power levels, and 2 of them were over 9,000.
Going to ignore it because he definitely did read the spirit levels, but we're just going to ignore that. That's the only time I think I've ever seen them use that gauntlet of theirs to do that. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
But he kills two spirits, burns them, and stabs the guy
Well,
who's
two team
using.
members. He hasn't killed a spirit.
No, he first basically killed the spirit. I mean, he killed the. He
He
killed.
calls it a corpse that's spearing onto his thing.
I mean, no, that was the body that they killed. He killed that when he stabbed her. I mean, I don't know how it was happening, but he was killing them really quickly. He attacked. He was the first attacking the spirit, and then all of a sudden, his spirit's hand was Kali Ma through their body and just burned them. It was apparently the spirit was moving really fast. Apparently, House Spirit is really quick, which I guess is not common. There's a lot of killing. I mean, like when you put How in the show and then you show that he burns somebody's soul from like the soul out, it's like the hands down, like he's probably the most brutal character in this show. Period. Like so much death. But as they're trying to figure this out, How reveals that that they actually not How Yo reveals that he had suspected that they were going to kill themselves to figure this out, and that was one of the biggest problems that he had with them. Let's see, Lyser was also having some problems too, and one of the reasons why he's getting beat over and over again is because he's I guess he's soft. He feels his feelings. He doesn't like seeing people die. It's like I'm sitting there like I can't really feel sorry for Lyser at this point because he should have known this, based on like how much they want to kill. They want to like kill How. This is probably the limit that he's like, he doesn't want anybody to die trying to take out How. So we see a little bit of like humanity out of Lyser. Yes, like the people that died in this episode, one of them, Vinstar, the X3, his dang it, I'm just not saying this now. Holy Angel Megatron. Really? I know you say I mean Metatron. Really?
I initially misspelled it, so I went back and fixed it. But my delete key was broken.
I'm not believing you at all. I hope you know that. And then we have the other spirits, Gabriel and Ramiel. In pretty much the people wielding them were Mine and Kevin, and apparently these guys were like the nicest of the X3. Saying that they appreciate Lyser concern for them, but they're willing to die for their cause. I'm mad that they had a pretty girl die in this episode. Like really, I can say that because I know she's above age, but like they really went all for that, like stabbing her through her stomach thing. It's like, geez, she couldn't live and have a family. You had to kill her because How did something to her in her past. It's kind of weird that everybody joined this thing as a way to get back at How, and How doesn't seem phased at all. In fact, he relishes in the people that hate him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to enjoy himself. He's very much anti-Yo in that like nothing really bothers him at all. But he's evil instead.
Yeah, it's just really weird. I also like to point out, I think somebody mentions that I'm going to take you to hell or something like that, and then he just says, I've already seen enough of that. I'm like...
He's like, boring!
Like, what happened to him? Is like, I think that's my first answer. Is like, what happened to How? Like, because my goodness.
Yes. Who hurt you, dude?
Really, everybody. Because he does not care. He does not give 2 or 3 flying fucks. Like, I guess How's an interesting character. I would like to see a little bit more of, like, I guess what he's about. Because, like, as the episode's coming to...
that one guy that took his mask off, and he was, like, disfigured and burned by him, and he's like, this is what you've done. The guy's like, oh, okay. Didn't even recognize... if he recognized it, he didn't even say anything. He just like, oh, okay, that's your story.
I guess speaking of that too, they finally How kind of like mocks them by letting them know that my intermediary is all the air in the world, so like you can't stop me. And apparently Vinstar, the guy who's the last guy, he got stabbed, like he's got like on the on the kebab out there. Pretty much shows that he's been hiding a grenade in his fireproof pouch apparently, and pretty much lets it explode. There's a big light explosion. Everybody's like wondering, well, how can Tina survive that? Lo and behold, Hal survived it, and we see that apparently he has giant gauntlets on his hand. He's also not wearing a shirt. I have to point out that for some reason the creator really likes really skinny characters. It was very disturbing. It didn't seem like Hal was like. It seemed like to me Hal was anorexic. Well, how skinny he looked.
Mm-hmm.
It was very weird. Like I'm not the biggest fan of the designs of some characters in the show, but that was very weird. But that premise it ends with Hal smiling and he knows he's won because like the guy's dead. He's won the fight. But like it looked like Hal also had like a red aura around him.
I didn't notice the red aura. That was a good observation.
He's like he had like a red aura. He was just dusting himself off. So like he was just smiling. He known he won. So I don't know. I feel like now that like he's done that, like most of the X-Souls have been taken care of. The only guy really take care of, watch out for, is Jean. Whenever he fights her.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just like this entire episode was just really weird, really bloody, really dark. We had some really interesting, interactions between certain characters. Some of them I wasn't expecting, like Hal and Ren. Wasn't expecting that interaction. Then we have like Yo and the X-Laws. That was pretty funny. The whole not phase thing. I don't think I have much more to say. Yeah, goes for a suicide play with Grenade X.
It seemed like what it was, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that they all were gonna die anyway. Apparently, they were all ready to die. I don't think Last was ready to die, based on what I'm seeing of him right now. So he's probably gonna like defect at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Probably with a power up in tow, more than likely. I suspect. Because Lysor's whole thing is just about like how weak I am, and I don't want to feel hopeless like that again. But at least about it. I don't really got much more to say, unless you got something to say.
No, that's about my notes. The coolest thing I found was the Faust thing. It seems like episodes are either rich in mythology or they're rich in action, and it's not necessarily one or the other. When it's rich in action, it seems like the story is always about Yo like turning people towards like their best version of themselves. And when it's mythology, it seems like it's always a new place, like Germany or Native American, or you know what I mean, or Chinese, Japanese, whatever. Like it seems like they always explore like a new country. So I think one of them was Swiss recently or something like that. So they just keep jumping all over the world, which is kind of fun.
You get to learn a lot about like I guess what countries like stories are, and what they believe in. I guess with that, we're going to end the podcast here. For next week, we're going to be reviewing episodes 24 and 25. Wait. No, 25 and 26. Jeez, I'm really off.
That's all right, sir.
Episodes 25 and 26, and I'll come back like we do every Monday. See you guys next time.
Bye.